feel safe, get off the airplane. But
This is your
in street clothes. You don't feel safe? Get off the airplane. PMS much?
captain speaking, but never like this.
I'll stop, and we'll fly the airplane. Don't worry, I'm going to let my co-pilot fly it. He's a man. Okay.
So that is the anti-white narrative. She's just being kept down. Don't worry, people. The whole population, they just want a man. Don't worry. I'll let him fly it, you goons.
Okay.
It's a total meltdown.
I would have said, good. Actually, could you sit in the back? Actually, could you put a dress on and give me something to drink? That's what I would have said. Actually, could you put the phone down and put a dress on and get into that little kitchenette over there and get me a water and a coffee? Because that's what you're good for. You obviously have never deserved the responsibility of being in charge of all these people on board this plane, and the responsibility of ensuring that their lives are not put at risk from point A to point B. You've never been there. The only reason you have this job is because of anti-whiteism. And folks, I want you to really focus on this. White females, of course, we're not talking about the women of the West who are here, and there are plenty of other white females that we have to find out in the population and bring into the fold as best as we can. But white females know, just like everyone else in the West knows, that they got their job, that they got their slot at school, that they're getting their good grades, that they're being passed because of anti-whiteism. It's the zeitgeist. It's the time. It's the times. It's our turn. They know that. And so here this girl boss rolls in on this flight. I don't know, 100 people on the plane. I don't know how many. Maybe somebody could look it up. And she's terrorizes them. Could you imagine being on this plane and this female rolls in dressed in street? I mean, she can't even get her uniform on to come to work. With this massive grudge and hatred against men. That's what it is. When she's saying, don't worry, I'll get a man. That's her hatred of men. That's misandry. That's her hatred of men. And that is anti-white. And it's not, when we say hatred of men, we don't mean black males or Jewish male. Oh, no. She would never slander them. Oh, no. It's white men. Those are the only guys that you can socially and legally slander. So that's her hatred of white men coming out. She goes into politics. She goes into her divorce. Oh, that's right. She did have a divorce. So I was just actually guessing at that point. Now I remember that she says something about her divorce.
Pilot boarded in her street clothes and addressed the passengers over the intercom. Passenger Pam O'Neill couldn't believe what was happening.
She said,
Then there's Pam O'Neill. Let's back up. Look at poor Pam. Pam, what about all of these healthy white females out there that want to live in Western civilization? Well, you're going to have to start getting comfortable with guys like myself who have far more intelligence and far more testosterone and far more aggression than you're probably comfortable with. You're going to have to get accustomed to endorsing guys like me, to financing guys like me. If you want to live in the West, it's going to be guys like me that are going to make it happen. It's not going to be the guy that that guy that looks like he's 12 years old, never shaved a day in his life, even though he's 35, 40, 50 or whatever. It's not going to be that guy. He's not going to save Western civilization. It's going to be somebody who says, hey, if you want to come slander me to my face, I invite it. I will meet you and we will have that full contact conversation. It's going to be somebody like that. Not another guy that it's easy for you as a female to push around. You're just going to have to realize it. And Pam, it's going to be you, or it's going to be apparently a shrinking and smaller and smaller percentage of the white female population who will decide, all right, I don't want to live in this repulsive, dysgenic, upside down, anti-white world, crime-ridden, drug-ridden, purposeless-ridden world anymore. Don't want to live there. I don't want to go to church anymore and have some effete, gelded, pacifist choir boy telling me that God wants me to just sit and pray about it. I'm going to have to go somewhere where somebody is going to, at church, raise a sword and say get to know where the exit is. The C's can get out now because we're about to take this shit back. So Pam deserves to be on a flight. I wonder what her actual, who she endorses politically, what kind of guys. I know what she's going to need.
Neil couldn't believe what was happening.
She said, let's take a vote. How many of you would like to take off now with me dressed as I am, or would you prefer that I take 10 minutes to get changed into my cute little uniform?
Cute little uniform. This bitch, this pilot. Do you want me? So my uniform is what I'm forced to wear to look cute for you white males out there, and I shouldn't have to do that.
Then she started.
So I looked, by the way, all over. I'm seeing content creators in the white sympathetic sphere, just by the by, content creators in the white sympathetic sphere that are saying DEI hire, and they think they're making a point. They think they're doing something. These people are so inbred and TARDIS, it's stupefying.
Talking about her divorce and political candidates, and the minute she mentioned
talking about her divorce and political candidates, if she had been, what can we say for certain? If she had been endorsing President Trump, that would be headline news everywhere. So she was obviously slandering Trump. Nobody is saying anything about that. It would be Trump supporter threatens to crash plane.
That a gentleman stood up and just yelled, "Whoa, enough, you're scaring me."
Another passenger, Randy Reed, got up to leave and gave a running commentary on social media. Pilot also insulted a couple on board.
Did I offend you? Okay, so did I purposely offend you? I did. The answer.
Look, can you believe she's actually going after this couple? Did I offend you? They were obviously disgusted. Did I offend you? Did I purposely offend you? I would have said, take your anti-white ass and get out of my face. But Jason, what does it have to do with race? You know, no Jew has ever said that. No black person has ever said that. Only white conservatives say that. What does it have to do with race? Oh, and anti-whites who don't want us to talk about our victimization on the basis of our race. You'd never have a Jewish guy with a Jewish wife, and the Jewish guy says, this is anti-Semitic, and the wife say, what does our Semitism have to do with anything? It's just an abstraction that's being undermined here. Really? No black people do that. No Hispanics. No, in my opinion, I mean, I'm sure there are anomalies. Maybe we can phrase it this way. The majority, in my opinion, of other groups of people do not say, in my opinion, in my lived experience, do not say that they're not concerned with their people. They're concerned with them and their well-being, and they're lauded for it. And I'm sure there are others of different groups of people who don't care at all for their people. But it seems like the white race, we got a corner on that market, right? Because you can hear it now. If I told that bitch, get out of my face, you anti-white pig, you know it right now that there would be white people around me that would say, what? Wait a second. What does this have to do with race? And then I would say, how did you get out of the vegetable section at the grocery store? Head back. Go back to the vegetable section because that's where you belong. With the cauliflower, go back where you belong.
Yes. Flight attendants, please disarm doors.
After 20 passengers insisted on getting off the
20.
United Airlines flight, the pilot quietly left the aircraft.
Okay, if you don't feel safe, get off the airplane. But otherwise, we can go.
And that's that. We do have an article. I don't know how good it is because I think it's essentially just saying the same things, but let's just keep rolling with this. United Airlines said it's investing. By the way, was it United Airlines that had that crazy woman that was shouting about that motherfucker's not real? And then talk about blending the two stories. How many conspiracy theorists out there occupied your time with, was she actually seeing an interdimensional being? Was she, my God, other races don't do this. We are so sick. If other races were being obliterated like ours is, they would not entertain a Comedy Central style nonsense. Was she actually see? Maybe it was a CIA agent. I mean, those videos were everywhere. Was it United? Because if it is, maybe they're huffing something over at United. Rick says, no, why guilt is based. I'm mega based, my friend. Thank you. 555 says, I'm planting the crops with no white guilt. Those crops are going to grow bigger and stronger than you could ever imagine them. God bless you for that. Promethean Kitchen. And the thing is, they'll make videos this week and they won't even apologize. He's talking now about all of these content creators out there with gigantic audiences, and they make money that they live on. Like they have enough to live on from these poor people that they occupy with fear porn. And he's saying, right, he's so right. They're going to be making videos this week, right after the eclipse, right after Nazarene, or what was the name of the town? I immediately clicked off it when I saw one of them was saying this. And there are 39 towns named Nazarene that are going to be in the penumbra of the, so therefore, and then they do and this is the question thing that you see that's posed to Benny. And I agree with Benny as much as I dislike Benny, that it's not a real question. You're communicating a position with a question. What if you? That's what I have to say. And that's what they do. What if the path here over all of these towns and CERN's being fired up by the Luciferians, and the rockets are going up for some strange reason? What if it is a Luciferian time meld shift twist vortex, and suddenly we find that Cocoa Pebbles is actually Cocoa Pebbling? Just sickening. So he says they won't apologize for this week. So they've been going on about that, and they'll pretend it never happened. Yeah, precisely. They'll pretend like it never happened. I think what needs to happen for me is I need to get I actually have, maybe I have several swords. Maybe I don't. Maybe I'll have to get, but if I had a sword Maybe I should start going to churches and chasing the preachers and priests out and the deacons out. Turn their lectern over, turn their podium over, or lectern, I guess is the appropriate word. Turn the lectern over, step up on the podium, and then chase them out of the church. Maybe that's what needs to happen. You know, Christ went into the money changers. Jason went into the churches. Samuski, Jason goes Jesus. And doing the pulpit, yeah. Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be something? Flee before me, anti-white coward. That would be the one time the law would mind something awful happening to a Christian, if a white Christian. Non-white Christians, oh, they'll be there. ACB is here. Speedrunner is here. Sloth says they're looking for a sign in the stars. They don't have to live. They're looking for a sign in the stars. They don't have to live anymore, so they don't have to take responsibility. Very well put. Again, we're talking about, we now understand very clearly that these people that show up for all these groups, the vast majority of any various group, disgruntled, dissatisfied with the world, the state of our society, the vast majority are customers looking for excuses to do nothing, a scapegoat to blame everything on, and credit for good things they didn't do. That's what they are. So Slots is 100% right. It's something cosmic. Spiritual forces or elephantine spiritual forces are at work. Let us pray. And beg God to do it for us. Promethean Healing says, no white guilt. Quote, full contact conversation. That's a shirt. Maybe I should make that into a shirt. Maybe I should. I've been saying that for a long time online here. You don't get much of an opportunity to say that in person. But doing shows and all, gatherings, I've had an opportunity to say that a lot. Let's have a full contact conversation. Full contact conversation, nowhiteguilt.org. Sloth says, women, if you're not willing to push around a woman that's being unhinged, then support the men that will. Amen to that. Making fried rice with no white guilt, says Jay Bishop. It'll be the best rice you've ever made. All right. Remember, you can financially gift at all the aforementioned locations and tag me as No White Guilt on any of these platforms, including Twitter, and I will speak to your comments. United Airlines said it's investigating after one of its pilots took to a plane's intercom system this past Saturday with a bizarre rant that spooked passengers and touched on Donald Trump. So you know it was all negative. Like I said, if she had said anything positive about Trump, that would be every headline worldwide. Trump supporter. I mean, look at what we're going to cover shortly, where Salon and other anti-whites are blaming white men for the black men punching white women in New York. So if you can riddle that out of anti-whiteism, which of course is very easy because we understand it, if you can do that, then surely you know that what they would say if she had said, go Trump. You know, if she had said, go Trump, the plane would have probably cheered. And of course, she mentioned Hillary Clinton and her own divorce. That sounds safe. And again, look at the scant articles about this. If this had been a white man who walked in talking about lamenting his divorce, my God, they would never stop ramming it down our throats. Look at how pathetic white males are. He grabbed this pilot. He's responsible for the totality of every living soul on this plane. And he is just such a coward and pathetic and yellow-livered and spineless that when he got on the plane, he began to complain about his ex-wife to the trapped audience, the trapped and terrified audience. And now let's take a specific member of the plane, the most innocent member of the plane, the one that will garner as much sympathy from you as possible. And we will tell you that she survived cancer at 9. And she is a churchgoer because she's black, and it's now Christianity's good. She, of course, had all A's. She finally has her big break to become a singer at $600,000 a year and a new record label. And she was certain her life was over. Thanks to a white man who's unhinged, ballless, can't dance, can't jump, can't screw, whining and complaining and terrorizing her on the plane. That's what we would be putting up with right now. You all know it's true. But instead, it's this. The pilot boarded the plane dressed in street clothes, and her speech spooked more than a dozen passengers, leaving the... Did the other one say 20? I thought. United Airlines spokesman Charlie Hobart confirmed to the Associated Press the pilot wasn't in uniform when she boarded the plane. But that's okay. That's okay. Don't make her mad. She's a great lady. He said that the carrier brought in a replacement pilot. We made sure to get another woman. We wanted the absolute best for the people on this flight. So she was just having a empowerment day. She was having an empowerment day, and she felt, and she was right, that people needed to hear her truth. They needed to just sit back and hear her truth. And so the real guilty parties were the passengers, especially that first white male who got up and said, "You're scaring me." Especially, they were the real villains this day. Because if they just would have sat there and accepted their anti-white tongue lashing, then she would have piloted them safely to their destination. So it's another sign that white people, especially, of course, white males, have just not surrendered enough power and enough of their dignity to non-whites and women. It's almost like I've been doing this for decades and have an IQ that is double some people, some of whom are slandering me. Passengers on the flight shared details of the unusual incident on social media, posting commentary and even a video of the pilot talking to passengers over the intercom system. Several passengers expressed concern about the woman's mental stability. How dare they? The fleet and hubs of United... Okay, what is this? She, quote, "She shows up dressed like a civilian and asks us to take a vote to see whether she should have her change into her uniform or fly as is." Passenger Pam O'Neill. Well, we just saw Pam. She started off by... Isn't that interesting? Because Pam did not say that, USA Today. We just watched Pam. Pam just said, "Cute little uniform." And they're quoting Pam. They're quoting Pam here. USA, lying suckers. Every one of them. Lying anti-white suckers. Oh, we are like Camp of the Saints, folks. We have like a tree house. But this is the real world. And this is what's left of Western civilization. You climb some, oh, I don't know, sequoia tree, maybe. So you have this long climb up into the heights of this ancient tree. And there is built this auditorium that can seat 100 up in the heights of this sequoia, this beautiful sequoia, 1,000 years old, surrounded by others, their branches dark and gnarled. And there we plan. There we fight back. There we push back against the system. Everywhere else on this, DI higher. I was witty. I was witty. No, you were a dolt, a simpleton, but you got a lot of followers because you're giving them what the customers want, right? Jason's not going to give you what you want. Jason's going to give you what you need. She started off by saying that she had not voted for Trump. She also said she didn't vote for Clinton. It just really sort of went downhill from there and didn't make a lot of sense to any of us. Wow. You know what? I wonder if that other crazy bitch that was saying the guy on the plane wasn't real, I wonder if she's been hired as a pilot. Maybe that's where they got this bitch. Meltdown on the plane? Like they take the woman off the plane that's having the psychotic meltdown. And she's like, what do you think you're going to do to me? We're going to offer you a job. What? Captain? Pilot? Oh, we'll fire the white guy that's there. He's been, he's a military veteran. He's been flying since he was 6 years old. But he's a white male. So we'll get rid of him. You're hired, sweetheart. And then just don't think it'll last too long. Like 5-10 years, and then we're going to replace you with a black female. But I mean, you're hired for now. The Austin American-Statesman cited a YouTube video of the incident since removed that the paper said showed some of the pilot's rant. In that video, the American-Statesman quoted the pilot as trying to reassure passengers by saying, don't worry, I'm going to let my co-pilot fly the plane. He's a man. And there you have the hatred of white males. Make everything about us because it is about us. And even if it wasn't about us, it is about us. Do you want to live? Do you want to control our destiny? Do you want to have the Mayberry nursery room of Western civilization for your children and their children and their children? You have to make it about us. Morally, make it about us. All right, I think we've heard enough about this pilot. Let's move on.